So yeah, we're both up and running now. So Chris from Germany, welcome. So we've just had a little bit of a chat, and it's been a while since we spoke to each other. Um, and so yeah, you're going through this incessant search for information. What are you coming upon now? Eventually, how many years have you been searching?
Like I said in our first video, searching, I was like 2001. Like after the 9/11 stuff, I got into like a conspiracy theories, but just conspiracy theories, just let's say the surface of the things. And I never really looked deep into it. But like I said in 2014, that mystical, I call it mystical experience happened to me. And after that, I just couldn't, like I said to you in the video, after that, like you did it 5 years. I did it for 3 years. And I still do it today, not as much, but I wake up and I go my round, and the rest of the day I sit in front of YouTube or the internet and try to learn new things, search new things, try to, like you call it, myth-bust things and stuff like that. It's funny because you uploaded, I think yesterday it was, or yesterday, with this Q&A, first Q&A with the semen retention
Yeah.
video. And I myth-busted that in 2015 for myself even. I heard about that stuff, YouTube videos, and I said to myself, okay, for 30 days I don't masturbate. Let's try it. Let's myth-bust that shit. And I did that, and yeah, it's how can I say it? The first 2 weeks it's no problem, but the last 2 weeks it was a problem. Every single, at least it was for me like that. After the first 2 weeks, every single thing you see in the internet, even a girl who shuffles or is a little bit, you see a little bit of her ass or something, you immediately go there with your brain. Immediately, you are so much of that. Let's call it sexual energy is so much inside of you after 2 weeks or 3 weeks. It depends on the person, I think. But after me, 2 weeks, and I did it for 4 weeks because I wanted to prove myself. I can do it for months, and I did it. But after that, I said, no, there's something wrong. Like you said yourself, there's something wrong with it. So too many. You listen to these guys on YouTube, but you try it out for yourself, and you don't get all these benefits they're talking about, and then there's something wrong with it. I don't know. It didn't work for me. Let's say it. I tried it for a month, but I never tried it again. And
But
another,
carry on.
yeah,
Sorry,
yeah,
carry
and
on.
if you want to talk about that theme, because I wanted to go to
Yeah,
another
yeah,
topic.
yeah.
Okay, let's talk. Okay.
To take a breath.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry.
um, the whole thing about this semen retention thing is that you still do masturbate, but you don't ejaculate, and so therefore you don't orgasm, and I just can't see the point in that.
Yeah,
And
yes.
like you say, there's too many crazy fucks out there talking shit, and what is the fucking point to that? If you're gonna bring yourself up to the expectation of an orgasm and then you stop, I'm pretty
Uh,
sure that eventually that will fuck with your head and that will
yeah,
have an adverse effect on your health.
yeah, good that you mentioned that. It fucks with your head because I tried that. Like you said, you masturbate and you don't orgasm. And after, like I said, after 2 weeks, you really you get in that mindset of a pervert. Let's say that you see everything, even just a little bit of skin on a woman.
Yeah.
You immediately think about having sex with her every time. It doesn't matter where you see it, outside of yourself or in a video or something like that. It immediately triggers you, or at least it was for me after 2 weeks, because I did so much retention. Let's say that. Uh, it fucks with your head, really. It fucks with your head. You get in that mindset of a pervert. You see sex everywhere, really. After 2 weeks, you're so that energy is so much in you. You really feel you're so much energized. You could do. you can channel that energy into doing some exercises. You can do that. I truly believe that's what the Tao is doing when they really do that. That they channel this sexual energy into some kind of other practice, like meditation or yoga or qigong or something like that. You can do that. I tried that even for myself, but really after 3 weeks it gets really, for me it was like that, it's too much, it's too much energy inside your head, and you start to think in another way, really,
Yeah,
like a
yes.
pervert, really, and it's
And so then, I was speaking from the Freudian camp, and
Mhm.
I'm saying that, this sexual release is the most natural thing, and
Yeah,
we should do it as often as we feel the necessity, because it sends endorphins
yeah,
to your brain and your body, and
mhm,
it makes you relax, it makes you content. There's so many benefits for it. We don't need to labor this.
yeah,
But people that talk this level of what I consider to be just complete rubbish, and you people go, oh, you because you don't know enough about it, and just look, I don't know enough about all the intricacies of the flat Earth to know that
mhm.
it's fucking ludicrous. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
I
know
know.
all the intricacies of a person's mind that believes in Allah or
Yeah,
or fucking Jehovah, but I know
mhm.
it's a form of madness. And
Yeah,
people say to me in the comments that yeah, this masturbation, it drains you of your energy and it takes you into depression. I'm like, what the
uh,
fuck is wrong with you, man?
yeah,
No, mate, you've
yeah,
got it wrong. You're already in the midst of fucking depression,
yeah,
and
yeah.
you're already of low energy. You just want to find a scapegoat, and maybe you're a
Yeah,
little bit Catholic or something like this, and you think, yeah, my preacher told me this is why it is. It's
yeah,
you,
yeah.
you
It's like
demonize your
that.
cock.
Yeah, yeah. It's really like that. It's like I don't know why they do it. It's the same thing like we had in the first video. It's like for me, it's extremism. It's like the crazy vegans or the crazy feminists or the crazy whatever. They take everything to some kind of extreme just to, I don't know why, but they just do it because, like you said it, maybe it's really like that. They just bolstering their own ego because of that. They just, I'm now a vegan and I'm better than you, or something like that. I don't know why they think that way, but it's for me it's just judging. They don't understand anything about learning about yourself because they judge other people constantly for everything they do, and they don't look at themselves. Why do I judge them? Why do I have something? Why does it bother me? I always do that when something bothers
Exactly,
me.
exactly.
Yeah,
Let me interject here because this is the main issue. Why
mm,
the fuck does it bother them so much? If you say anything to a flat earther which isn't what
yeah,
they want to hear, they're like, you fucking this and you fucking that. And all the hate comes out and all the
yeah,
frustration. Fuck you, I thought you was a good guy. And,
yeah, yeah,
people I'm going to say
yeah.
people come onto my site
Mm.
via this flat earth thing, and it's like, whoa, dude, yeah, no, sorry, they come via something else, some sort of conspiratorial thing, and then they
Yeah,
go,
yeah,
oh, what, where do you stand on flat earth, bro? And I'm like, I'll send them a link, and then all of a sudden after that, they're like, unsubscribed, you don't know where the fuck is that, I thought you were a good guy. They've got some sort of just extreme dogma going on, like a Muslim, like a fucking Bible Belt Christian, this
mm,
sort of thing. If you say anything against their dogma, it's the potential to shatter their world, and they're not having any
yeah,
of it. And I
yeah,
think that's
yeah,
what it is. It's just a
yeah, yeah.
protection mechanism. They want to believe
To,
in one thing, they can't look at
mm,
anything else because they've not got the wherewithal.
totally agree with that. Totally agree with that. That's really that. That's why they are so bothered by that because they don't believe it themselves. Totally. So they know maybe it's true. Flat Earth. Let's take that example. They know maybe it's true. Maybe NASA fakes the pictures. Okay, maybe. But they don't know if it's true. They just want to believe that it's true. And when you say come on, guy, let's look at it rationally. Maybe it's true, maybe not. Let's look at it rationally. And they immediately don't want to look at it rationally because they know, unconsciously, they know, because when they look at it rationally, they see the flaws in it, they see the errors in it, and then nothing makes sense anymore. They are at the point in the beginning. They let's say that you and me, we are comfortable with saying, I don't know anything. I really don't know anything. You say it yourself. And we are comfortable. Yeah, we are comfortable with that. We know that. But some people, I believe, just the thought that they don't know anything agitates them so much anxiety and fear comes up because they, maybe all I know is wrong. Maybe all I know, and that fucks with their head so much that that's why they get so agitated when you say maybe flat Earth isn't right, and then they know my whole, like you said, my whole picture of the world falls into itself, and they don't want to. Let's say they don't want to admit to themselves that they don't know anything. They want to believe. They want to believe their ego. No, I know that. I studied that in school or whatever. I know that, and they don't want to. Admit to themselves that they don't know anything.
Yeah.
You and me, we are comfortable with that, but a lot of people are not comfortable with that.
No, and it's a very, very curious thing. And when anybody has this steadfast belief about anything in particular, and when you question them about it, if they start to get agitated and very, very defensive, you know that they're insecure about their belief.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so look at all these Muslim debates. You've got Western people or Christian people or atheists, and they're going, look, this archaic scripture written, in 600 AD, and in this desert realm, and probably it wasn't even written till 100 years later. A few fucking excerpts scratched onto stone. Come on, how believable is this? No, this is the word of Allah. Good job you're not in their country because they'd have your hands off or something.
Yeah, it's for me. It's just funny today or nowadays. It's just funny. I just laugh at these people because I know they are just fucking with themselves. They're just not honest with themselves. They're just fucking with their own mind. And let's say at the beginning I get mad at them. I really wanted to help them, but after a while now I know it's their own path. They have to go through that, and sooner or later, maybe in this life, maybe in another life, they will get this. They will understand that there's more to life, and that you don't know anything really, because everything is changing. And but it's like we said, it's I believe most part is the ego. The ego don't want to admit to itself that it's wrong, that it don't know anything at all. The ego wants to know anything, like you said in your video on where you still was in England in the graveyard, and when you take that example, that we have to master our egos. We really do have to master our egos. When every day, not just today I master my ego, tomorrow don't. Every day we have to look at ourselves and ask ourselves, why do I want to do that? Why do I like that? Why do I don't like that? And I always do that, and that's why I don't have really problems with myself. And I believe a lot of people see that in me, and that's why they come to me and ask for some suggestions, maybe help me with stopping smoking cigarettes or something like that. And I always can say to them, you have to want it. You really want to do it. And when you want to do it and you stop lying to yourself, that's the most important thing. When you stop lying to yourself, when you're really honest to yourself, then everything changes for you. Everything changes for you. But we are so used to, in this matrix, in this society, to lie to ourselves. We are wearing these metaphorical masks all the day, and after years doing that, we don't know ourselves anymore, because we always played these roles. And when we really ask, who am I? Really ask that question, who am I? And for most people it's too much. They suppressed all this stuff for over 10 years, and then they want to think about it, and then it's too much, and they no, I know this, and this, and that's okay, and then they immediately stop asking questions. I believe, I don't know, but that was makes sense to me why they don't do it. Let's say I didn't do it as much myself. I had to have this mystical experience to really grasp something, that there is something more to this life. Even after all this psychedelic experience, I never get it after I get that one experience I had. And after that, I can't go back. I make always that joke that I took the red pill in 2001 to get out of the matrix, but it took myself 13 years to digest it. And only in 2014, it kicked in, so everything just made sense. Like I said with the example, that my life is a big puzzle piece, and after that experience, every puzzle piece connected, and I knew everything. I can't put it in words. It's just like I said to you. It's a feeling. You know something, but you can't describe it in words. Really.
Exactly. But just for the benefit of the viewers who are not privy to that mystical experience, do you want to run that one by us again? Because I've forgotten what it is. To be fair, also, Chris.
Okay, no problem. It was like in 2014. I watched a friend of mine showed me a video or said documentation, like conspiracy theories. Most of it was about Atlantis and alien stuff and Martians and all that stuff. I heard a lot. But one information was in that video I never heard in that way, that to meditate is a human birthright. It's your birthright, and that's what the bad aliens try to get rid of you. And as soon as I heard it in that way, I don't like rules, really. I don't like when people say you can't do that. And because I heard it in that way, they try to take that away from me, my birthright to meditate. I immediately said, no, tomorrow I'm gonna start meditate. I don't give a fuck. Tomorrow I'm gonna start meditating.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. Nothing happened that day. But next day I woke up, and it really was like, I don't know if you listen to it, like Eckhart Tolle describes his enlightenment experience. He had it almost the same way. He just woke up, and I had to say, I woke up and everything, it's really hard to explain in words. It's just like I woke up and everything dropped away. Everything was gone. Everything you normally worry about, everything, even your death, it wasn't there. Everything was just away, and I was just me. I was just experiencing it. I don't know, and because of that, I was so content with everything. Everything was so good. Everything I really, and that feeling hold it on for a whole month. A whole month I walked around and I didn't give a fuck about anything. A dude could come up to me with a gun and say, I kill you. And I said, okay, kill me. I really was in that phase. Really, I didn't give a fuck, and everything was just okay. I can't explain it. And like I said, it was like a feeling that I knew something now, but I can't describe it in words. It's just a feeling. And that feeling I can best describe with that puzzle example, that every experience I had in my whole life made sense now. Even the fucked up experience I had, and I don't have such good life, I would say, but after that experience, I understand why I had to have all these experiences. Like I said, it was like every experience was a puzzle piece, and they don't fit it together. But after that experience, everything fitted together. Every little puzzle piece fitted together. Every little thing I heard all my life, every little conspiracy theory, everything just fitted together and made sense. Now I know why I choose this life. I don't know. I get it. Like I said, I just got it.
But let me just interject here, because I want to clarify something. When you say that you get it now and you understood it, I mean, I can't grasp that, because I mean,
Yeah,
you get what you understood. What you understood why you took every single step and stumble in your life, and it was just because to bring you to this moment in time.
yeah.
What I'm getting at here, was it not necessarily a feeling that you get it and you understand it, or
Mm,
uh, um, you intuit it, but
mm.
was it a feeling that you so content with it that it doesn't
Ah,
matter?
yeah, I know. I think I know what you mean with that. No, it just I that was the first month. Yeah, I could say I just was content with it. The first month, I just was content with it, and everything was okay. I could die. Okay, let's say that. Yeah, I was just content with it. The first month, just the first month,
Right.
because after that first month, that feeling subsided, and I was in the matrix again. Like I don't know, but after that, like I said to you, I really wanted to know what happened to me. Nothing made sense. No fucking science made sense. Nothing made sense. I knew I had to look into religion and spiritual stuff. I don't know why, but I had to look into that stuff. And I did it. I did. I looked into every single religion I could find, every single stuff I could find. And I did that for, like, I still do it now, but I don't watch so many religion stuff and all that spiritual stuff, but I still have my channels. Like, you are one of these channels, and Abby, the channeler, and some other channels I watch, and I still every day I get something out of it. Yeah, I still, but let's say it's really hard to describe, because it's a feeling. It's not just a contentment. It's just I know there's something more to this life. Let's say it this way. It's more like, you could say I found God or something like that, but not in that kind of way. It's really yes, it's I don't know. I can't describe it to anyone. I just can't say to people that when you have that experience or similar experience, you know what I mean. You know, and I think you know what I mean. You just had a different kind of experience. But let's take another example. You said sometimes you saw a leaf falling, and you just know that was an angel, that leaf you saw falling.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in that way, similar to that, I have this experience too sometimes. Like last year in the winter, I told that Jonas too. Uh, I was in that forest, and it was snowing, and I don't know, a feeling came over me, and I just watched the snow fall, and no one around me, and it just felt like the snow falls for me. You like you said with the leaf, it falls. Nobody is there to watch it. Just you are there to watch it.
Yes.
And I was there, and I felt that, and I don't know. It's like a feeling. You know, every. I tried to explain it to Jonas that way. It's you know, every single snowflake is unique. Every single snowflake is unique, and normally you just see that, and okay, but at that moment I just felt it. I just felt, I don't know. It just felt every little thing of every little snowflake, and millions of these snowflakes I see now, and every single one of them is unique in this world, in this time. And I see it, and maybe we humans are not very different from that. We are just unique snowflakes. We are thinking, with our ego, we have our own experience on our own life and all that stuff, and all this, let's say, matrix stuff. We have to succeed and have a nice car and a good girlfriend and all that stuff. But in that moment, I just knew that's all bullshit. That's all bullshit. We are all just snowflakes, unique. We are just here to express ourselves in our own way. And that's when you really get that, you stop. I can't judge people, even the cruelest people of them all, like say Hitler, or I don't know, the real bad people. I can't judge them, but because I know maybe I would be the same as them if I had the same life as them, and I lived under the same circumstances as them. I would be the same person as them. So
Exactly.
why? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna say you gotta let me
And then,
you gotta let me interact sometime because otherwise it's just like watching a fucking video.
I'm sorry, when I get too into something, just stop me, say, you talk too much or something like that. It's okay.
Yeah, because you see, what I like to do is, you know, when we're listening to people on videos and they're not quite explaining and expressing
Mhm.
themselves to us as profoundly as we would like, then it's kind of like, you know, I wish I could
Yeah,
talk to this person. But what I want to do is I want to take you back now.
yeah.
In 2001, you started getting into the conspiratorial stuff. And
Hmm.
2014, that's when you got out of bed and everything was okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so what we've got then, we've got 13 years of deep, penetrative fucking seeking into any number of wacky stuff about this world. And
Yeah.
so your head is filled with all this stuff. By that time, you must have been absolutely bamboozled and bewildered and in a form of acceptance that you could never, ever know anything. It isn't
Yeah.
possible. And
Mm.
so with that level of cognizing, of
Mm.
frustration, of bewilderment, would you think it would be fair to say that this is when this higher self kicks in and gives you the pill, and
Yeah. Yeah.
it says enough now?
Yeah.
Just like
Yeah. Yeah.
Eckhart Tolle, he was on about killing himself. He was
Yeah.
in the darkest place ever. And then the
Mm.
next morning he gets up and it's all over. I
Mm.
think that there's something in the mind, or it could be, you know, a spiritual thing. It could be the higher self, whatever,
Mm.
but something trips when we're on the point, probably, of doing something really detrimental to our lives. Then
Mhm.
for some of us that are lucky, we get this a fuse, you know,
Mm. Yeah.
the power flicks over and you stop getting this surge. You see, the reason why I asked, were you misconstruing, knowing everything and thinking, oh, that's why, is that possible?
Mm.
Only in as much that you can say to yourself probably that everything I've always done, or everything I've ever done, all this stuff I've encountered that's caused me stress and trauma has been important to bring me to this place to allow me to have this realization today. Because
Yeah. Yeah.
if you can't rationalize this stuff, if you go, why did you take me through all that fucked up shit? You one
Yeah.
cruel motherfucker. You know,
Yeah.
if there is a God up there and God loves his children, why do you put us through this?
Yeah. Yeah.
If God can mitigate this and he can say to us, that's because, son, you know, I needed to be cruel to be kind. I needed
Yeah.
you to come to this space. I needed you to be evolved. And we're
Yeah.
never going to be evolved unless we've been through pain and suffering and
Yeah.
great peaks of joy and happiness and all this sort of thing. And
Yeah.
and so what you are conveying, I understand it, and it's very difficult to convey. But
Mm.
what I would say my sort of feeling about this now is that it is just a feeling, and it's like when I'm walking anywhere within nature. Predominantly, but even when I'm around the city, I've got a feeling that it's all for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every single thing is for me. And when
Mm.
I look at a tree gently blown in the breeze, when I look at a stream, you know, with a few ripples and currents, when I look at a butterfly, a bee, or anything of
Mm.
this nature, I just get
Yeah.
this feeling that it's for me.
Yeah.
Particularly when there's no other human being around. Who else
Yeah.
could it be for? What's the purpose
Yeah.
to it if it's
Yeah.
not for me?
Yeah. Yeah. It's that. Yeah. It's the same for me. It's yeah. It's like we say. It's hard to explain to people. When you experience that, it's easy. Like people, I heard that last year or something. People in the know, it's easy to explain them because they know that they had the say almost the same experience. You don't have to tell them we are all one. They know that. it's easy to explain that to them. But a person who had never had a similar experience to that, you can try your whole life. You can't describe it to him. He has to have that experience for himself, and then he understands it. So you can't talk people into that. I don't believe that's what religions try to do. They're like, oh yeah, you do this and this and this, and now you're holy, or what the fuck, stupid shit like that. Really, people who knew their spiritual stuff, like shamans do, they say I only, or like Buddha say, I can only show you the way. You have to go it yourself. I can go the way for you. You have to do it yourself, and that's what resonates with me. You have to do it yourself. You can't just listen to people and then think, I know now. No, you have to try it for yourself. Like you say, myth-busting. You have to myth-bust that shit for yourself. You can't just, okay, people say that, and a lot of people say that. I don't believe that. I just have to try that for myself. Yeah. I'm sorry when I talk that too much. I'm sorry.
I use the analogy that if you want to know what it's like to climb a mountain, you're never going to know from reading the book.
Yeah.
Pick a mountain and go and fucking climb it. And then you'll come down and you'll realize why nobody could ever tell you. Because it's a feeling, and the knowledge is derived out of the feeling. The knowledge isn't derived out of the intellectualizing of climbing a mountain. We can read that it's very exhausting and people nearly die and it's painful and it's cold, and you can think, oh yeah, but we will never know what it feels like to have fucking frostbite, until you've fucking had it. And so this is the whole thing about it. And it doesn't matter. You see all these gurus that they're sitting down and people are all flocking around because they want this enlightenment. They ain't ever going to get it. They're never ever going to get it from any of them. It's going to come about in its own time, when it is ready, when you're ready, when you've opened your mind and you've looked inside yourself and you've accepted yourself enough, and then you'll go, fuck me, is that it? It's almost like an anticlimax. It's like, is that it? It's me. Listen, I'm not trying to belittle, this, because this is a miracle. This whole illusion and the paradox is a miracle. It's fucking genius just to wake up to that and know that you're among this, trying to work it out. Just go, fuck me. How could I ever? What stupid thoughts were inside my mind to persuade me that I could ever have any sort of notion what this is. No.
Yeah, it's like, maybe I can say it right. Terence McKenna said it in this way: we only see a fraction of what is possible, and even that what is possible is just a fraction of the perceivable world. I don't know if I say it right. Maybe it's what's like we only perceive a fraction of everything perceivable. And even that is just a fraction of the perceivable world. Just with our mind, with our, let's say, human body, we can, it's just too much light. We only see just the tiny spectrum of light, and there's so much of light, and that's just light. We don't talk about sound. All these frequencies, high pitched and low frequencies, we can hear. There's so much we don't see and hear and feel, that to think something about this world is just preposterous. Yeah. It's just we are at this beginning. Like you're just fooling yourself. You're just lying to yourself. Your ego. Yeah, I know something. It's just the same thing. Even if you think about other stuff, it's just the same thing. You just want to believe in something, but like we said in the first video, you just choose one side of the dogma. You don't really learn something if you choose one side of the dogma. You really learn something if you stay in the middle way. If you really try to stay neutral and try to observe everything as objectively as you can, without your bias and all your programs and all that stuff you have. We all have that. some more, some less, but you have to work on yourself to deprogram yourself, and then you see so much more. Like we say with that, you say with the fallen leaf, or I have that with that snowflakes. Like, let's say in 2001, I wouldn't give a fuck about snowflakes, you know. I would fucking snowflakes, normal thing. I took everything for granted. I really was like these Matrix people. I took everything for granted. And good that I talk too much. Sorry, but last video you showed your new where you live now with your let's say Spartanic kitchen and all that stuff.
Yeah.
For me, it's even more funny because I talked with Jonas too. I tried myth-busting other stuff. I don't know if you heard from this guy, Wim Hof, the Iceman, aka the Iceman. It's a Dutch guy. He got up the Mount Everest only in shorts, and he controls all of his system only with his mind. He can dive under 200 meters of ice and all that stuff. And I don't know if
it doesn't drop below 1 degree, and
Yeah.
that's incredible. So there's something seriously going on there, isn't there?
You know that guy, so
Yeah.
Wim Hof. Yeah. And I watched him, and I listened to that guy, and he always says with that cold, you have to do cold showers. And I said, okay, fuck it, myth-busting. I do 1 month. Always, I don't know why I do it. Even with this semen retention, I always say 1 month. I tried for 1 month, and I did that 1 month just showering cold. And after that 1 month, the first warm shower, man, it's something else. After that, I always say to people, just shower for 1 week, just cold. After that, you have so much gratitude for warm water. You don't. I can't explain that to you. I just have every time I shower now. I do it. I start with warm water and I finish with ice cold water because it's good for the system, all that. But I don't do just cold water. But after that 1 month, just cold water, I'm just so appreciative of warm water. You know that I have that privilege. You know, you see it yourself now. You don't have warm water. You have to cook it yourself.
Yeah.
And the most, let's say, if you're back in Britain and you tell that to people, they don't give a fuck. They take it for fucking granted that they always have warm water. They don't think about it 1 second that maybe it's a privilege to have warm water. They just take it for granted. And when you do that stuff, like you and me do, that myth-busting stuff, you really get a new perspective on things, and you really, like I have that. I have so much more gratitude for everything because I tried it. I challenge myself. Let's say that with Jonas, I talk with that a lot. We have to go out of our comfort zones. When we never go out of our comfort zones, everything just gets so dull, and I don't know. You take everything for granted, and it's just. I don't want to live that way. Maybe there are people that want to live that way, but I don't. I always try to challenge myself in a specific way, like cold showering, or another thing. I sleep on the ground for 2 years now. I tried that out for 1 month, and the weird stuff is now I can't sleep in beds really anymore. I do that sometimes on the weekends, but when I sleep in a comfortable, cozy bed, I at least get woken up 3 times a night. I always left, right, and I woke. Okay, not. And when I sleep on the hard floor, I sleep like a baby. Really, it's weird. The first 2 weeks it was hard, but after the month, I just knew it's really easy to sleep on the floor. You just have to. After a while, you just have to get used to it, and after you get used to it, your whole body gets used to it, and it's. In a way, it's even better for your body. I don't know why, but it really feels for me like that. I can't really sleep in beds. I can sleep in beds, of course, I can do it, but it's really like I can't dream in beds anymore. I really want to have my dream journal and all that stuff, but when I sleep in a bed, like I said, 3 times at night I woke up because I move too much in the bed. But when I lay on the floor, I just sleep in one way and in one time, and I dream about stuff, and then another, I don't know if you want to interject because I can go from that
I'll
story into another story. Okay.
I'll take the opportunity.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
What I'm trying to do is over this last few months, I'm trying to work out, Chris, is there any benefit in what we're doing here? And you
Mm,
touched on it earlier
yeah.
because we've gone through this journey and we've learnt a great deal. We should now have some information which is useful
Yeah.
to not only us but to humanity, because I don't think that information is supposed to pertain to one person.
Yeah. Yeah.
It can never pertain to one person because
Mm,
we all need other people to be able to make things work, and so therefore you have to share a certain something. You see now, selfish people, they will only tell a person just enough
mm,
to get him motivated and manipulated into doing
mm,
something that he wants him to do. And when he
yeah.
says, why do you want me to do that, it's kind of like the hierarchical system that we've got now. What
Mm,
happens is it all works on a need to know basis, you
yeah.
see, and this is why we never know what's going on. We'll never
Mm,
ever know what's going on, and nobody knows what's going on. And when we
mm,
think that all these masters up the top there, they're so clever, I don't think they are. I don't think anybody knows what the fuck is going on. It's too
yeah.
complex. Humanity is too complex for anybody to have a master plan.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so,
It's
they may have lots of mini plans going on here and there, but I just don't think there's a reality in this master plan. And so, what I'm saying is that the information that we've got, it needs sharing. And so, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. I've
yeah.
found my vocation, because if I never did this, then I wouldn't know what the fuck I was doing. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing now, really, but other people tell me I'm doing good. And so
Yeah.
I listen to them, Chris. But as far
Mm.
as I'm concerned, I'm just fucking, a vagabond with a camcorder in my hand. But you see, what I want to do now is, and what I'm working towards channeling down my energies into
Mm.
productive arenas. And this is why I've opened up this question and answer thing, because I want to hit people direct. I want
Mm.
people to ask me things and put me in a position whereby I have to explain in the finest detail that I can in any given subject. I want to
Mhm.
introduce hypnosis to the viewer, because
Mm.
I'm trained in hypnotherapy and it's about time I used it now. And
Yeah.
so I want to give people the opportunity to do that. I'm not going to charge them for it. I want them to partake in it, to experience
Mm.
it, because I believe
Mm.
I can get them involved in a very deep meditation via the hypnosis, and then they can do
Mm.
it themselves, you see. And so,
Mm.
getting back then to what you mentioned earlier on, is that you're not doing anything with your life other
Mm.
than ingesting all of this information, but you
Yeah.
feel that there's something within you that wants to do good, and so then you considered that you'd like to help elderly people. But I would have thought that that's the lowest kind of echelon, and I'm not being demeaning to old people, but
Mm.
I don't think it's such a great task. You're all
Ye-
right, pet. Can I help you take you to the shitter? Lord knows it takes some doing, yeah. But
Yeah.
I don't think it's much of a mental challenge. And so
Yeah.
there'd be no point in you taking this journey you have done for this past 14, 15 years, Chris.
Mm.
So I would start looking at doing something with what you've got now. And
Mhm.
if you could sort of um, manage your delivery,
Mhm.
then obviously you could do something, because the whole art of this is a partaking. And I know when you speak to me, you've got so much you want to talk about, and it's kind of like this, but there's what all that's happening is you're kind of like unloading and I'm receiving, but we're not resolving anything. And so what we need to do is we need to ask why every so often, and then
Yeah.
we need to come up with a solution. Maybe we haven't thought about that. And so I
Mm.
asked you, you know, what position are you in now after all this time? You can't go on for another 10 years like this, Chris, or maybe you can. You know, don't get me wrong, I'm not to, you know, telling you what to do or anything, but I would
Yeah.
think it'd be a waste if you don't start imparting this information now, like, you know,
Mm.
lots of people are doing. So how do you feel about that?
Yeah, it's I totally get you. I totally have the same feeling. I totally That's why I want to help people. I want to share this information because I really like in 2015 it really came over me. I had this, like I said to you in one video, like one revelation after another, one synchronicity after another, and so much revelation that I knew I have to share this stuff. That's why I started the book, the first page, and but like I had the same thing. Thought about the same stuff you did. So book publish about that stuff, and so. And nowadays, I think more about maybe creating. I have a YouTube channel, but really uploading videos. I don't have a camera, but maybe I can borrow something. Like I don't know. Maybe I want. It's really strange to me. I think about that, what you say every day, really. Think about it every day. I want to help people. I want to do something with this information. I really, and I totally get what you say with helping elderly. It's not so, it's just an option. I don't say I'm doing that. It's just an option for me because I'm thinking about that every day to, but it's weird because always when I think about it, it's like a voice comes into me and says, "You're again in the matrix. You're again in the matrix because you want to do something. When you are outside of the matrix, you just trust. You just trust, and that's what I want to do. I just want to trust in everything, in the universe and God, how you want to call it. I just want to trust, and I want to. And it's a weird thing. The more I trust, the more opportunities show them up to me. Like even that I found your channel in 2015 was like a sign for me, and that I found through your channel, Abby's channel, and other channels, and it's like a voice or higher self wants to say to me, just trust in yourself.
And
Don't, yeah.
and if that is the case, then this conversation we're having now is a very valuable part in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
And so there may be something in it. And so what I've always considered doing, and this was before I got into all this stuff, because I've always been a very motivated person, a very very much a self-starter, and people have always admired my energy and my desire to achieve, and
Yeah.
people have always wanted to engage with me and kind of work out how I work to see if they can get some of it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of like, it doesn't work if you only get some of it. You have to have all of it. And if you haven't got all of it, then it won't work, you see. And so this is what many people discover. But I always wanted to motivate people. And so I thought about ex-offenders. You know, you've got broken people, you've got misguided people. And I'm thinking they go into an institution. Are they going to go back there for the rest of their lives? Are they going to keep leaving their kids? Are they going to keep being a constant disappointment to all their family and friends, or are they going to want to turn something around? And if you can instill a level of value within them and touch something within them which lights a spark, and then they find some sort of direction and motivation from that, then I think that would be really, really beneficial.
Yeah. It's that's what I try all day. Not all day. I don't meet them all day, but I try it every weekend when I meet my friends, because I see they know some conspiracy theories, but they still are in that mindset that the world wants to fuck me over and everything sucks and this stuff and Illuminati and that stuff. And I always say to them, it's just your own projection of that. You don't know if it's really that way. You don't know. Stop. Just try to see things more positive, and you will be amazed what changes for you. And I really do. Really think some people are really touched, and I really see that they change themselves, that they don't drink so much alcohol anymore, that they don't smoke so much anymore, and they really try to eat healthier and stuff like that. And really, that's what I think. That's the perfect job for me. I think it's really something like a psychologist. Like I really. That's why I have such affinity with you, because I see so much for me in you, because you have that too, that you are a good listener, and because that's most of the time, that's, let's say, almost all, let's say more of 60 or 70% of the people just need that. They just need a person to listen. They don't need a suggestion, do this, do that, do that. They just need a person to listen. And then when they have a person to listen, they start to recognize, see for themselves that, now for the first time in my life, I think about that stuff, really deeply think about that stuff. Before that, I only scratched the surface, really superficial? I don't know, superficial. Yes, on the surface, just the surface. They never look deep into themselves. And when you talk to them, or just, yeah.
What do you think's happening there? Because it's kind of like, let's have a look at this. If you are the person that's come to see the therapist, I'm the therapist, and I say, well, how can I help you, Chris? And you sit down and you start talking, and you are comfortable because you've never met me before. When you walk out my office, if you don't want to come back, you'll never ever see me again. I don't know any of your friends and family, so I can't talk about it in any way. I'm professionally bound not to. So you can say what you really want to say. Now, what I'm going to say here is, I'm gonna let you work through it to see what's going on before I will say what I think is going on. So, what do you think's going on? What do you think the value is by you coming in and speaking like that?
With you or with my friends?
No,
or speaking like.
We're talking about hypothetical now. If you went to see a shrink, if I went to see a shrink, if somebody went to see a shrink and they can't talk about this stuff with anybody, they go and take this opportunity. So what do you think would be the greatest value of that encounter?
Maybe let's say the greatest value of that encounter, it depends on the person, I think. But for me, it would be like the greatest benefit I get out of it is that I'm not so crazy as I think I am, because I think about that stuff. Because that shriek would say it's normal to think about these things. It's not. It's human, and it's not. You're not some special guy who is the only one who thinks about that stuff. That's what I would derive from it, the most beneficial from it. I believe.
Let me interject here, because you've slipped back into you, and I'm talking hypothetically. I'm not talking about you. I just used you as a scenario.
Okay.
And so if somebody
hypothetical,
went to see a shrink, and they sat down in front of them, and the shrink said, "How can I help you?" What do you think would be the greatest benefit from that encounter?
Yeah, that they had really a person who listened. They really could express themselves. In a way, they think they can't express themselves to their friends and to their family. They always, like I said, that wear that metaphorical mask. And when you are in front of a sheik, a completely stranger to you, you think, fuck it, I can say everything I want. He doesn't judge me. It is his job to not judge me. And then you open yourself and try to express yourself more openly. Let's say it that way. Yeah.
And what then do you think the benefit of that would be?
Yeah, that he get rid of stuff he hold it on to for too long. He or let's say he took some things in his mind too seriously, and because he could express them, now he sees them in a different light, from a different perspective, and he sees that it's not so serious as he thought in his mind it was. And then I think, yeah.
Okay, so beautiful. You've touched on the point I was looking for.
Mm.
If we go to see a shrink, if we have somebody to listen to us, and this person, of course, is a nobody as far as our circle is concerned, then we will voice the certain something within us. I think will bypass the ego, because it's the ego that's not allowing us to talk to this person because they'll be thinking this.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
can't talk to that person because they'll be thinking that. We can't express ourselves to this person because they'll tell that person.
Yeah.
They'll tell that person. And so therefore, what you've got this fucking ego, this protection mechanism, which is supposed to be protecting you, but it's fucking you up because it's not allowing you to talk about any of this stuff. If you go to a listener and you bypass the ego because you don't care anymore, because there's nobody going to be whispering, right? And so the true self, the unconscious, is going to be telling you what your problem is. You're going to be verbalizing it, and for the first time in your life, you're going to have said it to yourself.
Yeah, yeah, and that's what I meant with first time you. That's what I meant with after that you did that, you get a different perspective on that thing.
And
what
then
bothers you?
you see the whole thing of the shrink very often doesn't even need to say anything, because if I said to you, you know, how can I help you, and you blah 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 blah, and you said all these things, then invariably I would just say to you, well, you've just helped yourself. And they would go, well, what do you mean? How many times have you admitted to yourself these issues? And then they'd go, well, fuck me, never. And so you see, when you've said it yourself, Chris, you've got catharsis on that release, and you see what you're saying as plain as day, and then you can have a much more better judgment to be able to deal with the shit that he's got going on. And so the benefit of listening, people underestimate it. It is vastly important.
Yeah. Yeah, it's vastly important. I believe so too. I see that with my friends every weekend. I see that because they come to me with stuff. I know they would ask other people. I know because I know. Like I say, my favorite psychologist is Carl Jung because he likes the shadow side. You really have to accept your dark side, really do. And I really did that with myself. I believe so. I don't know if I really accept every part of my shadow side, but a lot of it. And because of that, I can't really judge people anymore because I know that I could be in the same situation as that. And I don't, because I don't know why, but I think people feel that unconsciously with me, that I don't judge them. They can tell me everything, even the fucked up stuff they did in childhood or what the fuck. I don't judge them. I can't judge them. I really have to. I can't judge people anymore. Really, it's hard for me to judge people because immediately, if I see something bad happen in a video or something like that, my ego goes there. What an asshole, or what a motherfucker. I would love to punch this motherfucker. But after the first thought, I immediately go there. No, you could be that motherfucker. You could be in the same situation as him, and you would do maybe even worse than him. You would be even greater motherfucker than he is. And I'm honest to myself. I know I have this dark side in me. I know. I accept it, and because I accept it, I don't judge the dark side in other people because I know.
So judgment is well, I mean, it's just there's no benefit to expressing a judgment upon somebody if it's negative.
Yeah. Yeah.
You see, the ego is very, very happy if you judge them in a positive way, and then, you know, people don't mind being judged. You see, this is the whole
Yeah.
misconception about the word judging. Oh, you shouldn't judge. Well, if somebody walks in and it's your wife and she's got a beautiful dress on, you go, holy shit, you look fantastic tonight. You've just judged her. What have you judged her
Yeah.
against? You've judged her against wearing those fucking dowdy things she wears in the house all day long. We're judging every single moment of the day. And
Yeah,
so
yeah,
but
yeah.
when we judge and it's conducive to the ego, then we don't recognize the judge. But you see,
Mm.
when somebody says something which the ego doesn't like, then all of a sudden the ego's like, you're judging, you shouldn't judge. And you know, this
Yeah.
ego really is a fucked up, spoiled little brat, and it needs a
Yeah,
good
yeah.
fucking spanking. And
Yeah.
fucking, you know, send him to his room for a fucking fortnight, and all you do is you open the door, you put a fucking tray of food in 3 times a day. That's what it wants. And then, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
if it's completely demoralized, then you can let it out. And you
Yeah.
know, fucking, you know, under great constraint.
Mm.
But you know, it's fucking crazy. But look, instead of judging, if we ask somebody to ask themselves the question, if they like
Mm.
burst into a room, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, then you don't
Yeah.
say, you can't, you know, this, that, and the other, oh, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. If you just say, what's wrong with you today? Why
Yeah.
are you feeling like this today? That's all you need to do, because at some stage or another, that thought is going to come back on him and he's going to go, why am I feeling like that?
Yeah.
It's the conscience, you see. This is the whole thing. Freud's got the id, the ego, and the superego. Superego
Yeah.
is the conscience, and it's the thing that brings the ego in line from time to time. And the id is
Mm.
the animal part of us that just wants satiating at any given opportunity. And
Yeah.
so just to question, just to drop questions, it's enough. And you don't need a response there and then, because people won't be able to give you one because they've never thought about it. But if you just place a few seeds by
Yeah.
way of question, they'll start to grow. And this is how
Yeah.
we can bring people around, because their own conscience will bring them back in line. Their conscience
Mm.
is the overseer and the police officer of the ego.
It's great that you said it that way, because I always think in that way too. You just planting seeds.
Yeah.
It's not more than just planting seeds. You don't have to force people to stop that. That's not good for you. Like it doesn't work that way. You just can say to them, maybe you can do it this way, but it's just a suggestion. You do what you want. And when you say it this way, like you said it yourself, it's just a seed planted, and sooner or later they will get back to that thought. Hey, maybe I can change some little things. I don't have to change everything. I can change little things, and then it works for people. It really works. It's which Jonas, I talked about that. You can say people do this, do this, do this. You can't. You just have to live that for them. You have to, like it's maybe a stupid example, but I don't. I try to eat as healthy as I can. I don't smoke cigarettes anymore. I don't want to drink alcohol anymore. And because I do that, and every weekend my friends go, oh, come, one beer, one little shot, one little. And I always, no alcohol, no. And because I live that, and I'm still happy with that, they ask themselves, maybe I can that too. But when I go every weekend to them, stop drinking alcohol, it's bad for you, it doesn't get to them. It's just, what the fuck do you want from me?
And
But
also,
when I say,
the thing
yeah,
is, when you have friends and you are abstaining from certain things which everybody
Mhm.
knows is not beneficial, you know, to them for lots of reasons, they see the strength in you, and they're like, they become like the devil. They want to tempt you. Come on, only
yeah,
one beer.
yeah, one
They
beer,
know,
yeah,
everybody knows what happens if you have one beer. The chances are it's
yeah,
going to lead to 2 beers, and then
two
that's what they
beers
want.
and three
And it's
beers.
like, hey, mate, you're back in the fold again. And then they'll
Yeah,
brought you down to their level because they can't
yeah,
rise up to yours. And
mhm,
so nobody really likes anybody. It's the old analogy of the book of crabs. when one crab is
Yeah.
trying to get out, all the others will be pulling it back down. But you
Yeah.
see, if one crab got to the top with the help of the others, then all the other crabs can crawl up the ladder of crabs, and everybody could get out. But that's
Yeah.
not the mentality of the crabs. It's to pull the first one down, which is human mentality for the better part, you see.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, carry on. You go.
Yeah, no, okay. I just wanted to inject there because I don't think it's a human thing. I think it's a trained thing, a society thing. I think we got trained to think in that way because our whole society, let's call it Matrix, is trained only to profit, only money, only what can you get? Fuck the others, what can you get? And because we are trained in that thinking, we are like the crabs. We are fuck it, I want to get out there. I don't think it's
Well, you could say that. I mean, but I think if we look at, I mean, there's been tests about this. If you get, say, like small groups of communities living together, and I think the threshold is probably about 300, because in a group of 300, everybody can create a record in their mind of every single one of these people. Once you get over this 300, then things start to get vague, and you don't recognize people, and you don't know who everybody is. And then when you don't know who everybody is, then that's when there's a certain part of the human selfishness and greed starts to want to take advantage, because they've become detached. But if you're not detached, Chris, then you'll never want to take advantage, because you'll always know that that person is a part of you. You are the community, and everyone is pertaining to the strength and the honor of the community. And so therefore your conscience is the whole conscience of the community. But in societies that breaks down, and your next door neighbor is a complete stranger, and that's the difference, you see. And so it is a human trait, but it just depends on what arena we're in.
Yeah. It's a factor too, of course. It's maybe the biggest factor of them all, because we are in that way. It's I see it here in the village. I live in a village. I go today. I was in the city, and in the city, it's like you say, nobody knows anybody. Everyone is a complete stranger to everybody. Here in the village, maybe I knew 2 or 3 neighbors. That's it. The rest of the village, I don't really know. It's even in a village, I don't really know people. It's but like you said, it's from our society that we are in that thinking that we don't know our neighbors anymore. Let's say 50 years ago, that wasn't the case here in this village, in this German village. I know my father, when my grandfather, when they told me that stuff, there was one farmer here. Every single one in the village goes there to get his milk. For 50 years ago. Everybody knew the farmer, and the farmer knew everybody, and so everybody knew something about everybody.
And then somebody sells eggs, somebody keeps bees, somebody grows tomatoes and fruit and this sort of thing. And so I've lived in a village like this in Bulgaria, where it was almost back 100 years in time, and you get a very, very tight community, and people will knock on your door one day and they'll say, do you have any petrol? And then you'll give them some petrol. And then, like the next day, there'll be a bushel of tomatoes in a bag, outside your door if you weren't in. This level of reciprocity, which is beautiful. And even you don't have to do something for it, but you'll get gifts, and because everybody knows it's a merry-go-round, and whatever you've got in surplus, you're going to give it away, and so it's a beautiful thing. But yeah, we've lost all that, unfortunately, and it isn't getting any better. And so the humanity is being squashed out of the human being. And so, I mean, what are we doing here? What am I doing? I'm trying to put a bit of humanity back into the human being, and I'm putting up my videos, and I say, listen, there's no point in judging, and just because something doesn't agree with you, then look who that you is, and you'll find it's the ego, the thing that you probably are always banging on about that you should get rid of and you shouldn't judge, and yet you're like this as soon as somebody says something that it's preposterous. All of it is so ridiculous, and
Yeah.
I've grown weary over these years, and all I say now is, because it's very important to demean myself before I demean anybody else. And I say,
Yeah.
for fuck's sake, people, I don't know nothing. You may
Mm,
be looking at me thinking like, oh, Aaron is quite wise. He's been around the fucking world. He's done all this research and he's not too stupid. And yet
mm,
he says very, very overtly that he doesn't know anything.
mm,
Absolutely, because ultimately, that there's nothing to be known. But you see, there's so many perspectives to look at it from. If somebody they could say to me, yeah, but you want to charge £50 an hour and you say you don't know anything. And somebody even says to me, he don't even know himself. It's ridiculous. They've watched a load of my videos, and then they can say
mm.
something like that because I ask myself the question, who am I? I'm not asking myself. I'm getting you, the viewer, to ask your fucking selves. But you're too
Yeah.
stupid to fucking get it, most of you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's some let's say some viewers. I don't think they watched a lot of videos from you. When they watched a lot of videos from you, they wouldn't say stuff like "you don't know yourself." That's just preposterous again. It's just stupid because they don't watch any videos of you. Maybe the newest one, and they, like you said it yourself, you don't get attached to me. And I like that you say that because it's important to not get attached to people because we build them up in our mind so high that when they do one thing wrong, we are completely devastated and say, oh no, he's like this. And even the funny thing is, now I remember, even if like I said in the first conversation we had, I don't, sometimes I read your titles of the videos and it makes me, I don't know if I want to watch it. Like your video, leaving the abyss and getting back to the matrix. I read that and I don't know if I want to watch that video. But I watched it and I totally understand why you choose that title after I watched that video. But in the beginning, I think that's what the most people do. They just they build these people like you. They watch you and they build themselves up in their heads, in their minds. So, oh, he's this and he knows this and this and this, and then they see, oh, he says he don't know anything, and then all that crumbles again in their head, and they
Yeah.
don't. It's
Very often, Chris, I get people singing my praises, and I use a very similar comment whenever I reply to them. I say, don't worry, it won't be long before I can change your mind. And then they're kind of confused about that. Well, what are you doing? Because they feel rejected. But the point is,
yeah,
it always goes the same way. They'll build you up and build you up and build you up, and the worst ones are the kind of like the Muslims or the flat earthers, because
mm,
I'll get people, all Bible bashes, Jesus. Let's bring Christians into it as well, because all the same
yeah,
nonsense. But
yeah,
these people, I don't know what the fuck they're doing on this site in the first place. Because it says in the Bible that they're not supposed to do any of this other stuff. They're not supposed to look into any of this stuff, because it's
yeah,
all the fucking devil. All they're supposed to do is read the Ten Commandments every day, go to church and beg and bow. And
yeah,
yet they show up on my site, drawn by this thing that, is the forbidden fruit. And
yeah,
they'll start watching stuff and they'll thinking, fucking hell, this guy's a great guy. You're a great guy, and this, that, and the other. And then it happened very, very recently. A couple of videos after, the guy watched this one about what I had to say about Muslims. And I said,
yeah,
why do Muslims love to hate? And
mm,
or why do lots of Muslims love to hate? And then it was
yeah.
like, I can't believe you fucking, that was disgusting, blah 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 blah. And I just went, listen, mate, we're all double-edged swords. As soon as you realise you are, the fucking better.
Yeah, yeah,
There's never been a perfect human, and I'm
yeah,
including fucking Muhammad and Jesus.
Yeah,
You,
yeah,
you,
totally,
you
totally.
know, there is if there was a God, he didn't create us perfect. That's fucking quite evident, isn't it? You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? Jeepers
Yeah,
creepers.
it's funny that you say that because after I watched all that religion stuff and so I got really drawn into Western religion because because I grown up in Germany, it's a Christian or Catholic country. So again, you only hear that story. You never hear a story about Buddha or anything else. And because I looked into Buddha and that stuff, I like the story of Jesus, but I like the story of Buddha even more because in Buddha's story you know he's a or you see a little bit more that he's a human being. He has flaws and all that. And Jesus is just yeah, from childhood to this, and now he's 33 years old. What happened in between? You know what happened there? I want to know, but you don't
Yeah,
know. I just want to make that example that I like people that are not perfect, you know, like you said, you don't get anything out of Alan Watts. I get so much out of them because he's a heavy drinker and heavy smoker, because he's not perfect, because he understands, like Carl Jung, I have to accept my dark side, and my dark side wants to drink some alcohol and smoke some cigarettes. Maybe he did it too much, okay, but he accepted it. He doesn't. That's what I like about Alan Watts. He accepted his dark side. He
yeah,
accepted that he wants to drink, he wants to smoke tobacco, but he accepted it. He lived with it, and he was fine with it. You see it in him. And he's totally fine with it, and he doesn't give a fuck about anyone says to him, "Oh, don't drink so much" or "Stop smoking." So he doesn't give a fuck because for himself he knows that's my dark side, and he wants it. And it's okay. Nobody is perfect. We all have these. That's why, like when you say you would kill in a certain situation. I'm a vegetarian. I don't want to kill, but I'm not as foolish to say to myself when I'm in a real survival situation. Really, I would kill to
yeah,
survive.
yeah,
I'm not fooling myself to say no. I'm so spiritual now. I'm just light and love and all. That's just fooling yourself in another way. I believe you have to. That's why again, Carl Jung was my favorite psychologist. He really understood it that you have this other side in you and you have to accept it. What you resist persists. I don't know where it's from, but it's really true. When you say no, that's not me, it comes up again and again and again. It will show itself to you that it's you, as long as you don't accept it. The moment you accept it, it won't show itself
You
to
see,
you.
when you say that things will, it's like pop up, pop up, pop up, and
No.
what's happening is that this pop up is popping up because your unconscious is telling you that there's something you need to know. But it's
Yeah.
like being at a fairground with these pellet guns, and every time there's something pops up, you just shoot it down. Fuck off, fuck off, fuck off. Instead of bothering to read what's on it and take this
Yeah.
information in. And dreams work in the exact same way. If something is bothering you, then you'll get this recurring dream whereby it will be the same theme in many different scenarios, and it won't go away until you've accepted it and you have addressed it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so
It,
this is it, you see. But people, they don't want to listen to the dreams. They think they're bullshit. They don't want to listen to their mind. They don't want to listen to anything really. Most people these days don't even want to listen to their conscience. They just deny it, deny it, deny
yeah.
it.
Yeah, it's another great example. Everybody on the world wants that the world changes. And when you
Yep.
ask them, you have to change. You have to change that the world changes. Nobody wants to change.
And the
Everyone
beautiful
wants,
thing, yeah, the
yeah,
fantastic thing is that those words of Gandhi, be the word,
yeah,
become the change you want to see in the world.
see in the world. Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
I know absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, the veracity in that.
Yeah.
When you change, the world changes around you.
Yeah.
Everybody changes around you.
Yeah.
Everybody changes. And it has to, because what's happening is your perception of it has changed. There's something
Yeah.
inside you that has become more insightful, more respectful, more accepting, more
Yeah.
humble, more
Yeah.
compassionate. And when this comes about, you cannot help but see the world in a different way.
In a different way, and the world sees you in a different way. Like a lot of people say, what you send out, you get back. And when
Yeah.
you see that world in a different perspective, and you, like you said, you have more compassion, more respect, and all that stuff. When you have that, you unconsciously send all that out. Even if you don't want to, you send that out. And when you send that more respect, more compassion out, you get more back. It's a normal thing, but that's why it's so logical, so rational to see that what you when you want to change the world, you have to change. And when you change yourself in the way you want to see the world changes for you. But because the world has no other, it has to change because you change, because you emit another frequency, let's say this, or another vibration, and because you are in this another frequency vibration, the world has no chance to. It has to respond to that in that
Well,
same. Yeah, the world, everything. I would say. Let's
yeah,
say.
but at the end of the day, I mean, the world is a subjective experience, and so
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know, if we're talking about this as two separate things, they're not. And the reason why the world changes instantly when you change is because there is no world out there. It's a
yeah,
subjective experience because how
mm,
we receive it is all going on inside here. Now, I
yeah,
experienced something, and you've no doubt watched the video. I called it experiencing abstract terror.
yeah,
When one day I had this panic attack when I was watching
mm,
some nasty shit on
yeah.
YouTube, and
YouTube, yeah,
I'm telling you, within an instant, my world became a very, very dark place,
yeah,
terrifying, to the
mm-hmm,
extent whereby I just couldn't see myself living longer than a few days. That's how
yeah,
it was. And so
mm,
I know from the other perspective of being absolutely joyous and content and feeling like a mountain, how the
yeah,
world changes. You know,
mm,
the world changes for me with every given facet that I turn around. I say to Paul that, you know, we're all like 1,000-faceted diamond. And what we
yeah,
do is, you know, some of us, we have the ability to show more facets turning round, you know. And
mm-hmm,
so when you show another facet, you have another perception. And so
mm,
therefore, then you can see the world in another way. This is why
yeah,
I talk from many different perspectives, because I can see from many different perspectives.
yeah, yeah,
And
and yeah.
no, you can.
Okay, and that's again a synchronicity, I believe, because you always say in your videos, maybe I'm just a multifaceted person, or how you call it, and I am the same way. I can't just stick to one thing for long. I have to change always some things. I have to try new stuff. Or like I said with Jonas, we have to, or I have to go out of my comfort zone. I want to go out of my comfort zone because I always get something out of it, a new perspective or a new thing that I found in myself or something like that. And I don't know. Many people say, "Oh, you're like a schizophrenic. First you like this, then you like that, then you don't like this anymore." And like I said to you in our first conversation, I'm more. A lot of people, or not a lot of people, or some of my friends want to annoy me a little bit with, "Oh, you new age hippie, oh love and all that shit." And but you still watch that. Like I said, my humor is still weird in a way. I still like that really dark humor. I really can laugh about anything. I don't give a fuck what it is. Even the harshest, even fucking rape jokes. I know it's a joke, but I can
Yeah.
laugh about it. It's funny to me. And a lot of people, like in this new age community, oh no, that's negativity. You can laugh about that. That's just. And I don't get it. It's just for
They're
me,
living
it's
in
funny.
they're living in a silly bubble, and it's a contrived bubble. And again, it's just a new religion. That's all they're
Yeah.
creating, a new religion
Mhm.
of bullshit dogma and the denial of the beast that is within them all. And
Yeah.
I say in my videos, you know, embrace the beast, because when you embrace the beast, you don't have to use the beast, you don't have to become the beast. All I'm
Yeah.
saying is accept that there is a beast within you. And
Yeah.
once you've
Yeah.
done that, you're no longer living in denial of your ability,
Mm.
capability,
Yeah.
susceptibility, you know, all this sort of stuff. And but
Mm.
people, they're just no, no, no. I'm going to keep that door locked. I'm going to keep this door locked. They've been telling
Yeah.
us that we shouldn't do this and shouldn't do that. Oh dear. And so, but what I will say about my viewers is that now I'm getting a very good bunch. I'll put a video up, and within 24 hours, I'll have 300, 500 hits. And so it doesn't
Mm.
matter what title I'm putting up now. And
Yeah.
this is a level of the conditioning that I've been doing. I know exactly what I'm doing, you see,
Yeah.
because I never wanted to do clickbait, because I would draw all the wrong people. What I wanted to
Mm.
do, I wanted to draw in the people that are curious about this
Yeah.
esoteric title. They've seen one of my videos before and they think like, this guy's got some depth. I wonder if he's
Mm.
got other videos. Oh, and then they give you the benefit of the doubt, you know. And so
Yeah.
those are the sort of people that I want, and those are the sort of people predominantly that I've got. And so
Yeah.
what I've always done is I've always kept the titles pretty esoteric and vague, and they never ever address the full content of the video. And
Yeah.
so people know now, it's kind of like a lucky bag. When you're a kid, you have these lucky bags from the sweet shop.
Yeah.
You get a bag and it has several sweets in it. You never know what you're going to get. That's why it's called a lucky bag.
Yeah.
Oh, and so it's kind of like that, because there's gems in every one of my videos, and some of
Yeah.
them, you know, what I consider to be quite mundane, some people feel are really profound, and other people will say that's the best video you've ever done, and I'll say it's the best video for you today.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
all my videos have been the best for somebody. And that's
Yeah.
it, because we're all subjectively experiencing. And so now, I even was just going to put, and I did do for a week, I don't know whether you remember, I put a sequence of videos up for a whole week with just numbers. I never titled them at all.
Yeah. Yeah. I
And
watched
it
it.
never affected the amount of people that clicked on them. And
Yeah.
so that's a good thing, because now people know, they're getting to know me, they know what to expect. And it's kind of like if an author has brought one book out and many people have read the book, then they'll very readily go and get the next one, even if they've never heard a review about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so
Yeah. It's like you could say, like I said to you in our first conversation, just stay authentic, just stay real, and you will attract these people, and you see that you attract these people, and real truth seekers, let's call them that, real truth seekers stick with you, even if you made one video that triggered them or something like that. Real truth seekers, real that question everything, stick with you, because they see he questions everything too. And I have to, like you said, I have to give him the benefit of the doubt. I can't just say, oh, just one video triggered me and he doesn't know what he's talking about. He says he doesn't know he doesn't know anything. But
what the fuck do they want, you know?
Yeah, it's funny to me, but I hope it's funny to you too. But like I said to you in the first conversation, just stay authentic, and you will attract these truth seekers. You will, and that's the only thing you have to do. Just be yourself, and
hopefully, in time, I will bring them all around to realizing that there is no truth. Because this is the proverbial paradox of this. And this is the whole, you know, crazy thing about it. And this is what is very complex for most people to grasp watching my videos initially, because it depends from what perspective I'm talking. You know, I don't make any definition. I don't say, oh, this video I'm talking from this perspective. People have to work that out. And so you see, if you are a writer, you don't explain every single thing about the plot. You write it in a way that it draws the person in, and their intelligence is going to be deciphering it, because it's like a puzzle. They want to do that. They want to be guessing and what's going to happen next, and trying to preempt and this, that, and the other. And then, damn, I was wrong about that. So who's going to be the baddie? All this sort of thing. And so with how I deliver my videos, they never know what the end game's going to be, and so therefore they'll keep tuning in to see how wacky it can get.
Yeah, it's for me, it's I always get, like I said to you, I always get something out of your videos. Always, it's almost like, really, it's strange, but it's almost like I'm watching myself in a way. Of course, I didn't live your life or something like that, but like I said, I have some synchronicities with you.
That's
and
what
some,
many people say, Chris. Many people say that. Because we're in this certain vibration and we're thinking all this stuff, but lots of people, they can't articulate it.
Yeah.
And so just to hear it is brilliant. It's like, yes.
Yeah. It's really like that. Sometimes, like, it's one video. Shortly after our conversation, you made that video, and I commented under that, like, a fucking awesome video. I wish I could show that video to every social justice warrior on the planet. And you replied, let's in the next conversation, let's talk about that stuff. And every single word you said in that video was like I would say it, but you said it in in a more poetic way. Let's say it this way. But I totally agreed with everything, like what I would say it. And I don't have it with every video, but sometimes I really do, and I totally understand when people write to you and say that to you, that you speak from their soul in a way. Yeah. And it's in a way, it's obvious. We are all one in a way, and we are all just one consciousness, and we are just, like I said with my example, we are the same snowfall, but we are different snowflakes in the same snowfall.
We are all snow, basically.
Yeah, in that way. Yeah, we are all unique snowflakes. All in our specific way, we are unique. Yeah, but in a way, we are all one, but still unique. Paradox again, another paradox. We are
see, at the end of the day, the snowflakes. You see, if you look, the whole thing about what snow is very, very multifaceted. The snow, it will start off as H2O, and within certain temperatures, then it will form into these crystals. It will become heavier, and it will fall down, and then when it falls down on the ground, it will be matted together, and then it'll be compressed into ice, and so it's changing its form all the time. So when you say what is a snowflake, well, I mean, where do you want to start? A snowflake is a part of all those, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then if you take it further, Chris, a snowflake, of course, it derives out of water, which derives out of rain, which derives out of moisture coming from plants. And so what is a snowflake? Well, it's the world, because this water has been recycling around this world. It's been passed through a gazillion plants, a gazillion animals, and so it pertains to the whole world as one. And if we can believe this Japanese guy, Moto, whatever his name was, who did these experiments with water, and he insists that water has memory.
I know what you mean, Masimoto. I know the guy. What you mean,
and so if water does really have memory, then look at the memory that it contains. It contains the existence of this world, because it's been around for so long. And so it must have traveled every extremity of the planet within, say, 4.5 billion years, which is reputedly the age of the Earth as we know it.
Yeah.
So,
I just wanted to ask you one, or I don't know if we have still the time for it, but
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm not looking at ending. I mean, we can do another half an hour. That'll take us up to 2 hours. That's a manageable
Yeah.
video for
Okay.
anybody to watch. If
Yeah.
we go
Yeah.
over that, then we might deter
Yeah,
quite a few people.
it's even for me. So when I see a podcast or a Skype conversation with you and another person, and it's over 2 hours, over 2 hours. I don't know. I use the trick that you said, like I speed it up to 1.5 or something like that. It works. I can't put it to double the speed. That's too fast for me in a way. I don't know why, but that's too fast. But 1.5, it's okay for me. I just wanted to. It's a lot of stuff I want to talk about, but it's too much for today. Let's use a small thing. I watched the conversation. I think it was the first conversation with you and Jonas.
Yeah.
Because I watched a talk with him, and I thought, okay, let's watch all the Skype conversation you had with Jonas. And in the first, you asked him if he ever dreamt of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and after that, I said, did I ever dreamt of Aaron? And I have my like dream journal, and I looked into it because I couldn't remember. So wait a second, but I dreamt for you. Let's spoil that.
Just before you continue, I did a video about this because there's lots of people that saying that I was in their dreams, and it wasn't just women; it was an equal amount of guys and women. And of course, lots of the guys they'd be tentative about telling me, and they go, "No homo, no homo," but you was in my dream, and we did this and we did that, and I made this video, and I said, "Please come forward and tell us the dreams because you know they're really intriguing, and I'll try to decipher them, but I don't know whether lots of people, you know, women, they don't want to if it's any sexual content. Guys, they don't want to, just in case they think there's any latent homosexual shit that's going to be projected onto them, and so people are inhibited about doing this. But many people, when I put this video up, Chris, there's 25 people that said yes, they dreamt about me, and that was only within like a few days.
Oh, okay. It's like I never thought of it, but like I said, watch that, and you asked Jonas, and he thought about it, and he said, "No, I never dreamt of you." But the next conversation you had with him, he said to you, "Yeah, I dreamt of you. I dreamt of you."
The next day.
That's the funny thing. That's the funny thing with me. I watched it. I thought about it. If I ever dreamt of Aaron, I can't remember. Let's watch my dream journal, and then, oh, I dreamt of Aaron. It was shortly. I think about it. I don't have a date here, but it had to be shortly after you, Guy, and
Paul
were on that watch. You made that American Brave movie, that 1 hour movie. Yeah. And I think it was maybe 2 days after that I dreamt that dream, because the only thing I wrote down was I was with Aaron, Guy, and Paul in vacation, and we had a group of children we had to watch over. I always have fucking weird dreams. That's the only thing I can remember of that dream. That's the only thing I written down. That you, me, and Paul, and Guy were in some kind of vacation, but we couldn't really enjoy that vacation. But there was a whole children group we have to watch over. I don't know what that means. I think maybe I don't know.
Well, I mean, look, dreams, they're all in metaphor, and we're potentially all teachers, and we are seeking out knowledge and stuff like that. And so if you was coming down onto this little quest that we had to go to look at the Rothschilds mansion, to go and look at crop circles, to Stonehenge, and question this and question that, and so you because you have an affinity with after that, and then the children are around. You know, this is probably the whole thing about being a teacher. You know, we're all God's children, and if we're assuming some sort of authority, then you know the children could make manifest, because it's the natural relationship, isn't it? Or young people, you know, from a teacher to a student.
it's great that you say that, because I always try to decrypt or to get a sense of my decipher my own dreams. And I thought the same things. Why children? Why children? Maybe it's that's again, like you said, you, me, and Guy and Paul are in a way teacher for some people that watch these videos. I don't know. Maybe that was my own encryption of that, but the deciphering of that. And the funny thing is, after you and me had that conversation, 2 or 3 days after that, I had a dream again of you, and of course I wrote it down. Right. And that's just a dream of you and me. It's just you are visiting me here in Germany, where I live here, and we walk to the streets here because I want to show you where I live and how it looks here and everything. But I think you have that sometimes too. In dreams, it doesn't look the same.
Yeah.
It was very strange. We was here where I live, but it doesn't look the same how it looked. There was all these fabrics, all this industrial stuff here that isn't here really. But in the dream, there's a lot of industrial stuff here, and we want to go into, I don't know why, but we wanted to go in one of these fabric
factories.
Factories, not really in the factory, but in the fenced area around it. You and me are people like, fuck it, there's a fence around it, I can still go there. Fuck them. They can, and I'm the same way. And because of that, we go into that factory facility, and then you pushing some buttons just for fun to make some lights on and off, and I'm searching for a spot where I can roll a joint. I don't know why, but I wanted to roll a joint to smoke with you in that fabric. I don't know why, but we are in that fabric, and we both know we shouldn't be here. It's forbidden or something. And then after a while, 2 security guys come, but not normal security guys, really security guys totally dressed in black, like Men in Black, something like that, and they have guns with them. And even in the dream, I think, why do they have guns? That's just a fabric. Why you don't have to protect the fabric with guns? But they're searching for you and me, apparently, in that dream. And we are sneaking out of the factory, and we are sneaking from cover to cover. And every time we go from cover to cover, I think now they see us, but they don't see us. And every time we get, and then we are at the fence of the fabric, and as soon as we get over the fence, they see us, and they try to run behind us, but we are behind the fence. So, and then the dream stops, and then I think about it. What does that mean? And maybe my decrypt. I again forget that word. Deciphering. Yeah, interpretation. Interpretation of that is you and me. We know so much stuff because of our years of looking into that stuff. That are forces out there. Let's say bad forces, because they are dressed in completely black. Yeah. They don't want us to share this information, and they're hunting us. That we don't share this information. That was my interpretation of that dream, because you and me, we know so much and we want to share that, but there's forces apparently that chase us, that we don't share this stuff. But in the dream shows me that we still manage it. They don't get us. Yeah. You know, we get over the fence before they see us. So
yes. So that's cool. So okay, you've got the Men in Black there. You've got this oppressive part. You've got the dark fighting the light. You see, we're trying to bring the light to people. I'm switching on and off lights. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you want to roll a joint. Rolling the joint and smoking it is giving us inspiration and bringing some more stuff to the front, where we can speak about various topics and all this, stimulate the mind, open the mind. We're in an enclosed compound, so we're in an arena which you feel that we're not really supposed to be there, and that's why then the guards come, because it's kind of like we're delving into stuff. We're trying to split this thing wide open. We're going to promulgate it to everybody, but no, you're not allowed to do that, because when you look at the Matrix, you see, the Matrix is made out of a certain fabric. We're in this place which is producing fabric.
Yeah.
And so if you pull this fabric out, you'll find that it's interwoven matrix. That's what a matrix is, isn't it? It's something that's very, very interwoven. And so if you start to look at your dreams like this, then very quickly you can put these pieces together. So we're in this compound. There's this matrix connotation to it. We're not supposed to be there. We're putting the light on and off, and all this sort of stuff. And so, it sounds like a great adventure dream. And when you look at it, it's in actual fact what we're doing, really.
That's what I get out of the dream too. It's the same. The dream just showed me what I'm doing in a way, and what you're doing with the switching off lights and on. Like, you try to motivate people. Like, sometimes you really try to trigger them. Let's say it that way. And but you don't mean it in a bad way. You really try to, let's say, wake them up in a way, and that's why light on off on off on off. That something that they get out of it. That they sooner or later.
Exactly, and this is what Paul says. I'm always turning people on and off. I build them up one day, and then I bring them down the next, and so they never know. You see, but you see, this is how you have the greatest impact. If people just want it to be all roses and all fluffy and beautiful, then they can tune into Infinite Waters. But if they really want to know themselves, then come and watch me, because via me, they'll get to know themselves. And this is the whole thing with Jesus. Come to me, and via me, you will return to yourself. You will get to know the Father. You are the Father. This is the whole thing. And so through the words that I say, and you take those words on board, and then you will have the light turned on within you. And so I'm doing shock tactics all the time, and I want to trigger people, and I want to upset people, because when you upset people, if they're rational thinking people, they'll let it lie, they'll think about it, and then they'll rationalize it. And then if they come back, they're willing to learn. If they're gone, then I don't want them anyway, Chris, because they're not rational people, you see. So what I do, I've got a natural filter on this site, and it works very, very well. It's subtle, and lots of people, they don't understand it. They can't comprehend what I'm doing. But over a long period of time, they'll see what I'm doing. They see how I manage women. They see how I manage many, many different facets of what I'm actually trying to do here. And so it's very complex, and when people start to see the complexity, then they start to appreciate what's actually happening. And when they're at that level of appreciation, then their mind is completely open. It's kind of...
So sorry that I interjected.
No, carry on.
No, okay. It's like you say. It's let's try me to say it's you maybe, like you said to me, maybe that mystical experience was not something, because I said to you, I don't know what it triggered inside of me, and you said to me, maybe it wasn't a trigger, maybe it was destiny. And I thought about that, and maybe it was. But when it was, then there is like I talked with Jonas about that, and you have, it's a big theme with you, like, do we really have free will? And I don't know if we really have free will. I really don't know, but it's how to say, it's when something, let's say it's this way. When there is something like destiny, when there is really something like destiny, then there has to be something like free will. It has to be. It's always that way. There's always hot and cold. There's always soft and warm. There's always this yin and yang energies. That's always the opposite of something. And when there is destiny, there has to be a free will in some kind of form, because it doesn't fit in another way, because it has to be, there has to be an opposite of it. When there is free will, there has to be destiny. If there is destiny, there has to be free will. It can, one can exist without the other. I don't know, maybe I say it wrong, but I really believe that way. When there is destiny, then there has to be some sort of free will too. Then you can choose your destiny.
Okay,
let's say it this way.
That's a good point. And would you say that it's not too dissimilar to Schrodinger's cat?
Yeah. Schrödinger.
Okay, so for the benefit of the viewer, I'll just explain that. The scientist, Schrödinger, at the turn of the century, he was talking about the probability of something happening, and he was saying that this is why it's called Schrodinger's cat, because he had a hypothetical box, and in the box was a live cat, and then there was some sort of cyanide capsule, and there was a chemical which was going to melt a little vial at some stage between the next 30 seconds. It was going to drip onto the cyanide, and then the cat was going to be dead. But you see, you'd never know whether it's going to happen in the first 5 seconds or whether it's going to be 25 seconds. And so the probability was that this cat could be dead and alive. And people won't say, well, no, it couldn't be both. No, it could be both, because at this point in time, without looking, it's only probability. You see, so if we then start looking at free will, well, I mean, we have to take everything on board in view of the fact that this universe is a paradox, and so we do have free will, and we don't have free will. We partially have free will, and then we absolutely don't have any free will, and all these things go on. And you see, if you look into, say, like Sam Harris does, and he says we don't have free will, he can talk for weeks with all these tests and fucking things that have been carried out that tell us that we've got no free will. You know, wired up to our brains, and you know, the body's doing stuff before brain knows about it 5 seconds before, and all this sort of thing. Yes, you can speak very convincingly about that, but equally you can speak very convincingly that we do have a choice. But the fact of it is, what I think, Chris, is that both things are going on, and both things are always going on. Within us there's always a little bit of love and a little bit of hate, and sometimes it's out of balance, sometimes it's very balanced, you know. But the fact is, like I say about the shadow, don't fuck with me, people. Don't fuck with yourself. It's in there. It's the yin and the yang of the universe. All these fucking people, these wise people of thousands and thousands of years ago, they've been telling you how it is, and yet you deny it about yourself, because it's the ego that's running the ship.
It's like Carl Jung said it. The humans do almost everything not to accept their dark side. Almost everything. They would do almost everything just not to admit to themselves that they are sometimes have these thoughts or something like that. Carl Jung said it himself. The humanity, that's the one of the biggest problems we have as humans. We don't want to admit to ourselves that we have a dark side, that we only want to see of the yin and yang the white side. We don't want to see the black side. But when you see the whole thing, you see the black side has a white dot in it and the white side has a black dot in it. But most people don't want to see that. They just want to see, I'm light, I'm just light, I'm happy, again, that's what I believe. It's the biggest mistake the New Age movement makes.
It's the biggest mistake. It's absolutely, because this New Age is so full of wishy-washy shit that's just fantasy.
Just everything, just happy. No, look at your life rationally. It's not just happy, joy. You will have bad days. It's normal to have bad days. But these New Age hippies sometimes, no, that's just you make it up, and that's negativity.
And then, of course, you know, there's always going to be someone that's going to be coming to save us. There's been someone coming to save us for the year dot. You know, Jesus was coming. You know, they said that the Messiah is going to come again, you know, in 2,000 years. And, you know, fuck me. You know, they must have thought that was an eternity then. But all of a sudden, lo and behold, the 2,000 years is here, and nobody walking on water is yet. And so because nobody's walking on water, then there's got to be an even greater. You see, we've evolved with our technology now, and so the greatest thing that could ever happen is a human being flying or walking on water. And all this shit went on in the Bible. Now we've got different stuff. We've got, you know, our ancestors or fathers, they're visiting us from different constellations far there. We know the name of them, the Arcturian, the Palladians, and they're all this sort of business, and it's just laughable. It's just Philip K. Dick on fucking steroids. Pure fantasy.
Yeah, want to believe. It's like that. It's really a want to believe. It's funny. Apparently, Alan Watts said that we Germans have a word for that. Hintergedanke. We humans have Hintergedanken. Like in English, you could say a thought in the back of your mind. You rarely admit to yourself that you think that way. Yeah. It's a Hintergedanke. You don't want to admit that you think that way. But in a way, that's the stuff that motivates you. But you don't want to admit this to yourself. And that's I don't know, maybe there's really not an English word for it. Alan Watts says it. It's we Germans have a word for it, Hintergedanke. And it's really, it's like that. We all have these thoughts in the back of our minds. We don't want to admit to ourselves that we do it that way. That's our real motivation, because we do it. But we don't want to admit it to ourselves because that's the negative side or the bad side. It's for me, it's just funny when after a while you accept your side, your bad side, and you see in the people around you that they pretend they are so happy and so full of light, and you see their bad side, you see that in them, but they don't want to admit that to themselves.
What I've said in many of my videos is that the reason why the vast majority of humanity isn't whole, first of all, because they are projecting onto the world that somebody's got to love them undyingly, and they've got to love someone undyingly for this wholeness to come about.
Well,
The second reason is that they're in such denial about the other half of themselves. And so you always get this, like, when two become one. Well, fuck me, you know, that's the biggest illusion of all, because, you know, two human beings can never become one human being. It's a fantasy. It's an illusion. It's just semantics. But you yourself can become one. You know, you can become a full vessel instead of being a half full vessel, because if you stop denying all of your human traits and you become a full human being, and look, goodness me, we'll go to the movies and we'll sit in the movie and we'll watch people getting their throats cut and blood coming over. We'll play on these games which are getting so real these days, and blood and bones are splattering all over the place. We fucking love it.
Yeah,
we fucking love it. It's big business, and yet we can't accept that we would do it in reality, because no, that's not human. That's inhumane.
Good example that you bring it up. I really get aggravated by some things I heard, like I play a lot of video games, not anymore. Sometimes I play, but for years, not anymore again. But years ago, when all these school shootings happened and so, and all people just, it's just because they play these Counter-Strike shooting games. That's so fucked up, because I played these games and I didn't make a school shooting. That's not, they don't go into schools and shoot their teachers and their fellow students because they played a video game. That's just so fucking stupid to think it that way. They had a depression, they had something going on in their real life, not in the video game. They had something going on in their real life, and maybe they were on some weird psychotropics, some weird antidepressant or something, and that's what they fucked their minds so up. And then
they were just disaffected children rather, which have suffered abuse all of their life, and they've suffered dissatisfaction with what they've been given in life, and so what do? They project it back onto those who deem responsible, society. It's just a natural expression of ourselves, and so if this person, you know, really understood himself and came to terms with himself, then, you know, this wouldn't have been necessary. But the people that don't know what's controlling them, they've got no idea the movers that are moving us on a daily basis. So we're up to 1 hour 56 minutes now, so we'll wrap it up at that. And you know, we'll talk much sooner, Chris, because I'm here for the next 3.5 weeks, and then I'm going to be somewhere else for a similar sort of period, and then I'm going to be somewhere longer, and so I'm not going to be doing all this moving around too much with shit internet. And so this is why I'm appealing to people now to get back in touch and start stepping up what we're doing a notch or two.
That's why I wrote to you today, because I watched that video today where you said, just write to me at Skype. And okay, I write to you at Skype. And because like I said, you see that at my Skype profile, when I'm online, you always can write to me. I said that to Jonas too. When you see I'm online, just write to me, and we can make a time. I'm almost always, like in the week, today I'm always online. Like at the weekends, not so much, because I'm visiting friends and stuff like that. And tomorrow I'm visiting my brother, and so that's why tomorrow will not be online. But inside of the week, from Monday to Thursday, I'm, like I said, almost every time I'm
on. Then, if anybody wants to contact you, you're open for that, yeah?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so therefore, viewers, then you can see the level of conversation that we engage in, and if you want to engage in that level of conversation, and no doubt other stuff, I'm sure is very versatile, then you know. Engage, because this is what I want to do, and this is what people are starting to do more and more. It's slowly making manifest, but it is happening. It will happen. We've got more stuff planned, and so just let's go forward, guys. So on that note, then, because we're almost, I don't want it to go over 2, because it looks bad when it goes over 2. You know, I want it to be 1 minute 59.
Okay, it's perfect. Then.
So great to talk again then, Chris, and we'll do it again no time at all. And until then, just stay tuned, and
you too. Enjoy every moment, enjoy every day, and
maybe some seeds have been planted.
I hope so. I hope so. Let's. Like I said, just write to me when you have time, and we can make something out of it.
Will do.
I have time.
Fantastic.
Okay.
I look forward to it, Chris. Take care.
I'm looking forward to enjoyed this conversation, and have a great day.
Cheers, bud. Thank you.
Bye.